all, this is Nicole from Biblio Knitting, and I'm here to talk about what I knit and spun this week. So this week I actually finally got around to the fiber optics yarn that I have been pulling up and showing you guys for the past 2 weeks. I ended up spinning it as a fractal yarn as per the request of my friend who I'm bartering with for this. Let me unwind it a little bit. It didn't turn out a very strong fractal. I think the fact that the silk kind of muted the colors a little, as well as having a very similar value between a lot of the purples and the greens, means that it's a little harder to tell that it's a fractal yarn when you're looking at it, but I assure you it is. I would say it's between kind of an Aran and a bulky weight, which is a little bit smaller than the pattern initially called for. It's the Mandelbrot hat from Knitty that she wants to knit up on, but I think it turned out really nice. And I don't normally spin this thick, so this was definitely a challenge and different from my normal yarn. And I'm really pleased with how it turned out, actually. Here's very springy. It's very soft. I'm very happy with it. And I'm happy that I am going to be giving it to somebody else, because I think this is going to be one of my last spinning projects of the year, because my goal for 2021 was to end up with more or less the same amount of yarn at the end of the year as I had at the beginning of the year. So I have now spun significantly more yarn, bought some yarn, and I'm trying to get down a little bit, and let's see what we can do with the next 2 months. These are the little leftovers, you know. I just bracelet plied those. I have a little tool that I use usually for the leftovers. I'll either bracelet ply them or I'll actually go in and chain ply them. But I thought I'd give my friend some extra yarn just in case she ran out. So that's the spinning. Like I said, that might be the last spinning for the next couple of weeks, just as I try to get more knitting out the door. But as I've been working on my 2 knitting projects this year, I'm working on more than 2 knitting projects this year, but alright. As I've been working on these 2 knitting projects for this last week, this one is progressing apace. Ooh, the crowd goes wild. I'm learning how to do syncopated brioche at this section. This is the Lockdown Brioche School by Robynn Waldon. I have to write these things down. I'm not good with names. And I'm really happy with how it's turning out. It's a strong purple week also this week. I've been very much in a purple place, which I do think is very appropriate for the oncoming Halloween season. And by oncoming, I mean we are in Halloween season. So many of my neighbors have decorated their little front porch sections, and it's actually really fun to just like walk around and look at them during my nice little afternoon walks. And then speaking of Halloween, there's one project that I'm especially trying to get ready for Halloween so that I can wear it. I don't think it will be part of any like real quote-unquote costume per se. It will be more concept. But look, I've started the arms. It has arms. I even did a little bit of a block on the arm because I was a little bit worried. Theme of the homecoming party for Jay Johnson with me is I went rogue on some of the gauge and also on the arms, and that means that I spent a lot of time being like, is this correct? Is this right? No, I don't think it's right. Pulling it out, reknitting it slightly different, and then blocking it just to make sure. So this has actually been blocking this arm for the past couple of days. Still a little damp. And so I've been working on the Lockdown Brioche instead during that time. So it's got a nice combo. And then this I'm hoping will either dry overnight. I might hit it a little bit with a blow dryer just to get the last of the dampness out. I don't really want to knit on a damp fabric. I feel like that's a great way to like mess up kind of my knitting or pull it in ways I don't want to pull it. And then just finish up the arms this week. That's kind of my goal for next time I see you guys next Sunday, is to finish this arm, finish this arm, and then be started on the collar and on the front lapels, which is also something I've never done before. I've never put lapels on a cardigan because I've never knit a cardigan before. So fingers crossed that it all turns out okay, and that this time I'm seeing things just go smoothly, coasting, not having to rip stuff out and do it over again, because it's not a hard pattern, like, at all. I do want to emphasize that this has been a really fun knit, and that I would highly recommend it to anybody who's interested in trying it, but I keep going rogue and trying to do my own things and making my life more difficult than it needs to be. So, we'll see. Those are my plans for the next week. And then let's talk about our weekly Shakespeare. giant Shakespeare book, what Shakespeare is going to tell us for this week. All right, so this is the introduction to the life of Henry V. So it's not even Shakespeare, but we'll see. No, we're quoting from some Shakespeare. This is, quote-unquote, a portion of the wooing scene from the, quote, famous Victories of Henry the Fift. Alright, the line is, Kate, I would to God that I had your majesty. And majesty is spelled M-A-I-E-S-T-I-E, as fast in love as you have with you. My father in war, but spelled W-A-R-R-E-S. Good time. I would not vouchsafe so much as one look ends with an E, until you had related all these unreasonable demands. So again, another kind of conflict-laden piece of Shakespeare to take us into the week. So that's a little bit of a interesting one there, but you know, it's an interesting to think about. So, I'll see you next week. Talk to you soon. Bye!